Well, let's get more now on the Prime Minister's grand tour of the nation to shore up support for her Brexit withdrawal deal. With a crucial Commons vote looming, all eyes are on Theresa May and whether she'll get the MPs and the country on side. Well, joining me now from Westminster is Tom Harwood, who's a reporter at Guido Fawkes. Tom, will this tour work, do you think?
It just smacks of desperation, to be honest. I'm not sure that Theresa May's actually thought through the consequences of the tour. We've seen since last year that Theresa May is not actually that good at connecting with people, at talking to people, and at getting ideas across. She's very good at this sort of set-piece speech that she does in Downing Street. But when she gets out and about and amongst people, as we saw in the general election campaign last year, it doesn't really have that same effect. And so I think people in Number 10 might have misjudged this situation. It's a deeply unpopular deal. It's unpopular with MPs on both the Leave and the Remain side, but it's also deeply unpopular with the public. And I'm not sure there's much that can be done to rescue its reputation, really.
I'm just looking at the pictures of her there in the rain in Wales. She seems to be getting a rather warm reception, though.
Well, I suppose it's not every day you meet the Prime Minister. That doesn't always mean that you would agree with her policy. And actually, really the fundamental problem from the start of these negotiations is that Theresa May's never had a vision for Brexit. She's sort of had this SW1 interpretation of it in terms of, oh, it's all about immigration. If we just sort the immigration, everything else will be fine. Well, actually, no. Most Brexiteers are deeply concerned that we're not taking back control over our laws or our trade. In these proposals, what we will be signing up to, perhaps indefinitely, is EU control over our terms of trade with the rest of the world, over our domestic regulatory regime. That's not taking back control. And I think really the fundamental problem with Remainers having negotiated this deal is they assume the only thing that Brexiteers care about is immigration, whereas that's not true. It was a part of the referendum, but it wasn't the whole referendum. Taking back control means taking back control over your domestic regulatory regime, over rules and regulations, over your tariffs with the rest of the world, over all of these other aspects that aren't dealt with as comprehensively in this deal. And that's why so many people feel like this is such a bad deal.
The problem is that the Brexiteers, though, are not running the country, and she is. She's been put in this position, and her supporters will argue that she's doing the best she can with a bad lot.
Well, I don't know about that. I think if she'd have taken a tougher line, we might have got somewhere a bit further. Theresa May is an incredibly risk-averse politician, and therefore we haven't taken those bold steps throughout this negotiation process. If we had someone who was a bit less afraid of the prospect of no deal, perhaps, who'd done a bit more planning for no deal, we could stand there and say, actually, we are happy to walk away if we don't get what we want. And really, from the very start, Theresa May hasn't believed in her own slogan that no deal is better than a bad deal. If anything, her slogan at the moment is any deal is better than a bad deal. And that means that we're in a pretty rocky situation.
Tom Harwood, good to talk to you. Thanks very much.